Welcome back, MTN Nets podcast. Want to make a quick reaction to the Nets Celtics game from tonight. Another frustrating one. One that the Nets were in it for three quarters, and I think played pretty well for the most part, considering not having Durant. Now the Celtics were without Jaylen Brown and Al Horford, so I have to include that as well. But the Nets did hang around. They entered the fourth quarter pretty much maybe down 2-3 or something like that. They had leads in this game of like 3, 5. I think they got up to 8 at one point. And then, of course, Boston in the fourth quarter completely took over this game. And the Nets have now dropped, I think, 9 straight games versus Boston. I think they have not beaten them since the 2021, not like the 2021/22 season, which is last year, but they haven't beaten them since the year 2021. So the Nets throughout the entire year of 2022 did not beat the Boston Celtics, which is pretty embarrassing. They play in the same conference division. They play them 4 times a year, had a playoff series. They didn't beat them one time in 2022. So rough to see there. Of course, the main talking point is going to be Ben Simmons, 0 points. I'll talk about that, of course. I don't want to make this a very long video. It is kind of late, but it was disappointing. I went there with decent expectations. I expected Boston to win by like a little bit. I think I predicted 101 to 98, and I guess I technically got the net score right, but Boston put up 109, not 101. But yeah, I mean, look, you look at the stats. They're pretty close in a lot of categories. Field goal percentage was close. The Nets shot better from 3. But then you look at rebounding, and the Celtics out-rebounded the Nets 48-31. And that's just, way too many. I mean, 12 offensive rebounds to the Nets 4. And, yeah, I mean, they didn't really outplay them in other areas. I think the Nets actually kind of kept up for the most part. And I do think they got some great plays out of Ben Simmons, outside of scoring and foul trouble. And Joe Harris showed up today, and, Nick Claxton was fine. You had TJ Warren give you 20 points off the bench. Seth Curry, 11 points off the bench. Guys actually showed up, but, for rebounding and some other things, guys did not show up. So we're going to talk about that real quick. But Royce O'Neal played 38 minutes, and he gave you 11 points. He gave you 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 2 assists. Okay, but I don't think he was terrible, but he just doesn't do enough sometimes. Just taking guys off the dribble, not much of a threat. We know that. Joe Harris, I mean, he was pretty good. 4 of 7 from 3. You can't ask for much more. 7 of 11. He started out the game pretty hot. I think he had 5 points very early in this game. So that was good to see. But Joe Harris, I mean, he had some defensive lapses for sure. He had a play where he just unnecessarily fouled Grant Williams and sent him to the line. Claxton, 4 of 7, 9 points, 9 rebounds, had 4 blocks, which is great. Wasn't the most impactful Nick Claxton game, but he was pretty good. He wasn't excellent, but he was pretty good. Kyrie, just a lot of shots, 9 for 24, 3 of 11 from downtown, 3 of 4 at the line. Did have 6 assists, but Kyrie played way too much hero ball. I know that when KD's out, he's going to have to shoot more. That's just how it is. But way too many times, especially in the fourth quarter, where he wanted to take Marcus Smart 1v1 and forgot he had teammates out there. Just too much of that. So, I don't want to criticize Kyrie too much because there's a lot on his plate now, but, I felt like they needed more team basketball in the fourth quarter, and they did not get it. Ben Simmons, that's the main talking point. He was 0 of 3 from the field. Most of those were those stupid little, baby hook shots, backing guys down in the post, and they were pretty bad misses. Ben Simmons didn't even come close to making a shot tonight. He was, I think, the only guy who was a plus in the plus-minus category, so this is pretty interesting. So Ben Simmons was a plus 10. You had other guys, Kyrie minus 11, Claxton minus 6, Joe Harris minus 7, TJ Warren minus 12, Seth Curry minus 6. I mean, Ben Simmons was a plus 10 and was the only guy in the positives in the plus-minus category. So I guess that's good, and it makes sense. I think Ben Simmons played a fantastic game outside of scoring and foul trouble. But without Kevin Durant out there, who was averaging 30 points per game, you have to do more. There were at least 3 or 4 occasions where Ben Simmons had a one-on-one downhill opportunity versus Luke Cornett, and it wasn't taking him one-on-one. You can't have that. I know he's tall, but if Ben Simmons was the Ben Simmons of Philly, he's taking that to the rack and at least getting to the line. You know what I mean? And now he is showing like he doesn't want to score. And he had a moment in this game where it wasn't as bad as the Atlanta series where he passed up the layup, but one where he made a pass to Nick Claxton he didn't have to make. Sure, it would have worked out, but a play where he could have taken a floater or just tried to bank it in. And instead, he tries to make the extra pass to Claxton. He throws that out of bounds. It goes through Claxton's hands. And it kind of reminded me of the play in Atlanta in the playoffs. So it was just way too much of that from Ben Simmons, way too passive. I think defensively he was good. I don't think Jason Tatum killed the Nets. Tatum was 7 of 22, 20 points. I think you'll take that from Tatum any day as an opponent. But yeah, I mean, he was great defensively. He was great at pushing the ball up the floor. He had like 7 assists in the first quarter. He finished the game with 13 assists and 9 rebounds. That's awesome. But 5 fouls, and I think 2 of those at least were just stupid fouls. One where he pushed Tatum out of bounds. I mean, quote unquote pushed. It wasn't even that bad. And there was another stupid one too. But he has to be more aware of like he can't get these dumb fouls. If you're fouling a guy because like you're playing tough defense and you're having trouble staying in front or something, or you take a bad angle, okay, but you can't have these stupid fouls on like the under your own basket because you're frustrated you missed a shot or something. Like you can't have that. Like you can't have the dumb fouls if you're Ben Simmons. Way too valuable to this team, especially in a game like this. So I'm not turning on Ben Simmons, but I'm disappointed. I expected more. Now, if he scored even 8 points in this game, and let's say his stat line was 8 points, 9 rebounds, 13 assists, and played fantastic defense, our entire viewpoint of Ben Simmons would be like, holy crap, what a game. But like the fact that he has 0 in the points column, it sucks, and you have to do more. I can't sugarcoat it. He has to do more than put up freaking 0 points. I'm sorry. So, they're 0-1 without KD. They play the Thunder and the Spurs up next. The Thunder can score. I mean, they scored like 130-something tonight versus Philly. I think they scored like 140-something another game. I forget who they played. It might have been the Celtics, actually, which is scary. Hell, even Peyton Pritchard had 16 on 7 of 13 shooting, it's nuts. So Luke Cornett, 11 points on 5 of 5. And they, as I said, out-rebounded the Nets by a lot. And that's definitely frustrating. And it's a sad day. You know why? Not just because they lost, but this is the 1-year anniversary, January 12th, of, I tweeted this morning, actually, because I had it lined up. I was like, it's definitely getting to a point where it's close to a year, and I had that tweet bookmarked. And it's exactly a year ago today when Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant played their last game together, and they blew out the Chicago Bulls on the road like 138 to like 110 or something. And then, of course, on the anniversary of that, Ben Simmons puts up a game with 0 points. So there's good and bad about Ben Simmons right now. Like I do like the defensive aspect he gives compared to James Harden, but like just looking at what Harden's doing in Philly right now, you kind of wish that the Nets were able to resolve the James Harden issue and wanting out of Brooklyn last year, but hopefully that turns around. It's something you can't dwell on. It's past us. Harden didn't want to be here, but just seeing that it was a year ago and like Ben Simmons puts up 0 tonight, it's like, damn, like I really wish that worked out better, but it is what it is. I mean, the Celtics are the best team in the league, in my opinion. I mean, you could put Memphis up there and some others, but I think the Celtics, I mean, maybe I'm biased because the Nets haven't beaten them since 2021, but they're a very good team. And even without Jaylen Brown, they have continuity. They're coached pretty well. I mean, it's not like Ime Udoka level, but, still. They're a team I respect very much. I mean, did some calls go the Nets against the Nets at the end? Yeah, I mean, some of these calls were kind of stupid, like the one where they challenged it, but they shouldn't have had to challenge that play because it clearly was not like I forget who the defender was. It might have been Utah, it might have been Royce. They reached in on Jason Tatum, hit off his knee, and pretty much went out of bounds. And Jacque Vaughn had to waste a challenge on that one, which was stupid. And, there was the Marcus Smart 3-point attempt, which I didn't see a replay. Maybe it was a foul, but, just a stupid play by Kyrie Irving. Just a lot of frustrating stuff from that game. So, yeah, I don't come away from this, like, super concerned. As I said, I did not expect to win this game, but for the way they played it through 3 quarters, I'm, like, talking myself into it and saying, hey, maybe they do win this game, and being in attendance for that and seeing them put up 16 points in the 4th quarter, it was shitty. So No other way to say it. So yeah, that's gonna do it. Once again, don't know when the next Nets video will be, but stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave in the comments your reaction to this game. How do you feel about Ben Simmons? I want Kyle Kuzma ASAP. I want somebody over here ASAP because they can beat the lower ranked teams without Kevin Durant, but like when you're playing these upper echelon teams, it's very tough to win without Kevin Durant. And we know that, like, even if Boston was without Tatum tonight and the Nets had KD, it might have been a different outcome, obviously. So it's going to be tough when you're missing your best player. I get it, but still, I just would love this team to go all in this year. As I said before, you're not going to get many opportunities where you have guys like KD and Kyrie playing at this type of level. You might as well take advantage of it. And if it sets you back for a few years and it fails, oh well. I want to go out swinging. Like, I want them to go out there and get a Kuzma, or, I'm not a huge John Collins guy, but even get a John Collins if you have to, or just some type of trade that will get this team over the hump. And as I said, until the Nets beat Boston, it's hard for me to sit here and expect them to win a championship or even get to the finals, because they have not beaten this team in a very long time. 9 straight losses to the Celtics. Like, until you beat that team and get past the giant in the East, it's going to be tough. You have to make a move or, something to get past that team, and they're not doing it. And if the Nets and Celtics happen to meet in the second round or Eastern Conference Finals, I don't have confidence in winning that series right now. I mean, we'll see. A lot can change from now until April, but depends what moves they make, who's healthy, who's not. If the Nets are at full strength, 100%, I do think they can take Boston to 6 or 7. I do. But at the same time, we have not faced Boston fully healthy since, I don't know, it's been a long-ass time. Not to make an excuse, because, tonight was pretty even. You trade KD for Jaylen Brown, Al Horford. I mean, it's close. I would still take KD, obviously, but you get what I mean. I'm running out of excuses here. They have to win some of these games. There's no reason to get swept last year, despite not having a full roster and having to rely on Patty Mills and guys like that way too much. But yeah, all right. So that's gonna do it for the video. Didn't want to make it too long, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time.